For Unit 4, Day 3 notes, Example 1 is dividing algebraic expressions, and as you can see, Example 1 is this entire page. And I have broken it up to different sections. So the first section here is a very basic idea of the rule. So if you have the same base, 3 and 3, then you are subtracting the exponents, the 4 and the 2. So to show your work, it would look like this, so you know what you're doing, and then you would write 3 squared. And the directions say to simplify, so we're going to leave it like this. If it said to evaluate, then you would tell me the answer is 9. In B, to subtract again, so 5 minus 2 is x to the third. 9 minus 9, that's a to the 0. But we know from day 1 that a to the 0 is just 1, because anything to the 0 power is 1. So my answer is 1. In letter D, if we take 2 minus 8, we get a negative 6. And also in day 1, we know we can't have a negative exponent, so we're going to put that over 1, and we're going to flip that fraction. So it would be 1 over y to the 6th. In letter E, again, we're going to subtract. So we're going to have 2/3 minus 1/3. So 2/3 minus 1/3 would be 1/3. In part F, we need to take 4/5 minus the negative 1/5. And as you can see, we have that double negative. So we're going to turn that into positive. And so 4/5 plus 1/5 would give you 5/5. And 5/5 reduces just to 1. And so your answer could be m to the first or m. Most likely, if it was a multiple choice test, you would be given this choice, not this one. And so you would want to know that these mean the exact same thing. In letter G, we have v to the 2/7 minus the denominator, which is negative 5/7. Again, double negative, so make them positive. 5 plus 2 is 7/7, which gives me 1. Again, we could say v to the first or v. Either way. All right, now for letter H. H, I, and J. So in all of these, we are going to want to reduce our fraction. So 10/5 is what I want to do first. And so 10 divided by 5 gives me 2. And then I would look at my m's because I want the same base. So I would say 2 minus 5 gives me negative 3. And then lastly, I have the n to the 4th and n to the 3rd. And so I subtract those, and 4 minus 3 is n to the 1st. But as you know, in day 1, you can't have a negative exponent. So we put this whole expression over 1. Now the 2 has a positive 1 on it. So I will leave it in the numerator. M will move to the bottom because it has a negative and becomes positive. And then n to the first will stay on the top. You could just leave it as n, or you could put the 1 there if you want. So I is the same method. We want to simplify the fraction. So negative 9/3 becomes negative 3. Then 8 minus 3 for m gives me 5. And then for the n, we have 10 minus 14, and that gives you negative 4. So the negative 3 is a positive exponent of 1. So I will leave it at the top. M has a positive 5, so I will leave it at the top. N has a negative exponent that I'll bring to the bottom. Okay. For J, same method. So 1, let's reduce the 45 and the 9. So negative 45 divided by 9 is negative 5. For M, we have 4 and 7. So 4 minus 7 is negative 3. And then 5 minus 10 is a negative 5. So again, remember, we're just looking at our exponents. So for the negative 5, it has a positive 1. I'm going to leave that in the top, or in the numerator. M will move to the bottom, become positive. N is negative, so it'll move to the bottom and become negative.